Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of RJD Politics, and today we are doing another video of the 2020 candidates. This is part 2 of the series. This is just a 2-part series, I believe it's going to be. And there's a lot of people who was running in 2020, but we stopped at Kristen Gillibrand last time, and she already did her little segment, and then we will continue on after her. So the video is going to be pretty short today, and this is another episode of RJD Politics.
When we raise our right hand and volunteer to serve, we set
Congresswoman
aside
Tulsi
our own...
Gabbard might win the award for worst out-of-the-gate experience in this campaign. She spent months trying to lay the groundwork for a presidential run. Then she suddenly announced, to everyone's surprise, that she was running in an interview with CNN.
I have decided to run and will be making a formal announcement within the next week.
Whoa! It took hours before they were able to get an official announcement up on her social media accounts. It's not outside the realm of the possible that she tries to do Launch 2.0.
She's one of the only Democratic candidates that I actually think is going to be pretty good in this election, because she has some conservative beliefs and liberal beliefs, and she's not like really radical, so I'm thinking of very highly of her, and I think she'll do well in this election. She might go through the primaries pretty well, but she's doing fine for herself right now, and as far as her support and the way she's running her campaign. But hopefully she'll start putting in more policies as the race goes on.
You see, I learned from my mother so many years ago in this community that when we want change, we don't wait for change, we work for it.
Julian Castro announced his candidacy with a speech in San Antonio, Texas, where he is a former mayor and a well-known political figure. If you think about the political dynamics of the Trump era, how much of our national conversation has focused on immigration, has focused on diversity, you would think there is a mile-wide opening for particularly a candidate of Hispanic origin.
Okay, I don't really like him that much because he has no policies, and he bases his everything that he says off either race or community or politically correct stuff. So whatever comes out of his mouth, I just hear BS, bull crap, all that stuff. That's all I hear. That's all I hear from his mouth. So I don't really think this guy is going to make it through the primaries. He doesn't have that much support. So we'll see as the race goes on.
Bernie Sanders in 2016 is still fresh in a lot of people's memory, for good and for bad.
Is going to send a message to the billionaire class
of economic, social, racial, and environmental justice.
Fundraising will not be a problem for him. He captured a lot of people's imagination, but he also made a lot of people very angry.
Seriously? He's a socialist. We do not roll with that in America, and people are just so brainwashed they don't even realize that socialism is not an American thing. We are a democracy, okay?
At this point, some of the most important candidates in the Democratic field are not in the Democratic field, but they're sort of hanging over it.
A lot of people telling you you should be president of the United States is a powerful message, and it's tough to pass up.
Nobody asked Martin Luther King what his legislative agenda was. He marched to change attitudes.
Joe Biden's run for president twice before, not very successfully at all, but that's before he served as vice president and became a beloved national figure. He's a very old school politician, loves to shake hands and hug babies. Even though he leads in a lot of the early polling, you don't see him scaring a lot of other Democrats out of the field.
This weird old man tried touching little children and grown women. He's really weird. He may be the ex-vice president, but he's still a weirdo to me. And he has no policies except for all this extra stuff and talking about how bad Trump is, and just basically Trump derangement syndrome is all he is. What is he about? That's all.
Won big in Ohio in the midterms, but Democrat Senator Sherrod Brown is thinking about running in 2020.
Sherrod Brown is making a big bet that he can bridge the divide between the progressives in the Democratic Party and the rank-and-file working-class voters. He launched a pre-campaign Dignity of Work tour.
You love your country, you fight for the people who make it work.
It's a way to get him part of the King legacy.
The dignity of labor.
Without trying to have too sharp of an elbow.
Number one, nobody even knows who this guy is. Number two, we don't even know what he specifically wants in his presidency. We don't know what he's running for. We don't know what he stands for. So who is this guy and what does he stand for? And that's my problem with him.
Beto O'Rourke burst onto the national Democratic scene with his candidacy against Senator Ted Cruz from 2018, a race that he did not win. He's sort of publicly agonizing over this decision.
I think if a guy changes his name and makes himself feel like he's Hispanic, I don't think I really want this guy to be our president and try to trust him to take care of our country and take care of everything, like our international relations with other countries. So this guy, it's not really the best kind of guy you want to be president, and he has no policies.
Former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz has sort of come out of nowhere in recent weeks as a potential contender.
I am seriously thinking of running for president.
He is a former Democrat, but he wants to run as a centrist independent, and it's fair to say he's set off a panic.
Billionaires, you need to find new hobbies.
He's getting a lot of criticism for being a billionaire at a time when I think Democrats are much more focused on economic.
He has a chance being an independent because there's a lot of people who are independents who don't trust the Democratic or Republican Party, and I think he might do good, and there might be three parties who are in the majority in this election. There's a great possibility that Howard Schultz might be doing well in this election, and because he's a billionaire, so he could pay for those rallies, and I think he'll do really nice in some states.
Inequality.
No sooner than Howard Schultz announced that he was starting down this path, Bloomberg put out a very self-aware statement saying, a billionaire with no shot of winning the presidency as a third-party candidate is only going to make Donald Trump a two-term president. The former mayor of New York City has more money than he could possibly spend in a presidential race, which makes him an instant contender.
Don't know this guy, and I'm sure a lot of people don't know him either.
The sheer number of candidates and the uncertainty, I think, caused by the very unusual presidency of Donald Trump are going to make this a race like nothing we've ever seen before.
These are not fringe or kooky candidates. These are legitimate candidates who represent certain constituencies in the Democratic Party.
Just about every Democrat in the country has got to be on your long list of candidates, and then there's always the possibility that somebody comes out of left field. Last we heard, Oprah wasn't going to run, but you never know. So buckle up, it's going to be a wild ride.
I don't feel confident for this Democratic Party. I really don't. I'm not sure if it's going to strive very well in this election. But hopefully there will be a good amount of... There's already a good amount of candidates, obviously. But I hope there's like a good amount of candidates who have actual policies instead of just talking out of their other end. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't have high hopes for the Democratic Party in this election, but I do have a little bit of a high hope for these independents because they're not on either side of the two biggest political parties in the United States. So hopefully it's a clean race. Hopefully it's not a bunch of crap saying that there's collusion or this extra stuff like Trump did this, Trump did that, Hillary Clinton's emails, you know, stuff like that. So basically, no actual drama that includes the FBI doing high detailed investigations. So that is pretty much it for this episode of RJD Politics. I'll see you guys later.